I'm calling this video Cheek Speak because it is all about some of the latest blushes that everybody's talking about. Now, blushes are released every hour, it seems. Not literally, okay, every hour and a half it seems. But what everybody's talking about right now are all of the shades of the YSL blushes. I have 4 of them here, and all of the new shades, I have all of them here, of the Patrick Ta Major Headlines Double Take Cream and Powder Blush Duo. That's a mouthful. We're gonna look at 8 different blushes today here on Not Fit for Print Beauty with me, Rebecca. I am the fashion and beauty editor who has spent more than 20 years in the trenches with some of the biggest brands out there in our industry, and I have brought Not Fit for Print Beauty right here to YouTube so that you have a sort of live or filmed live beauty magazine that you can look through every day or so here on YouTube. All right, let's get started because we got a lot to do. If my cheeks look redder than usual, it is simply because I have been washing my face. I washed my face 8 times to be accurate. Yeah, 8 times or 9 times actually. So we have a lot of blush to look at. I want to talk about it, do some swatches, and get right into demoing all of them. Let's start by talking about Patrick Ta. He now has 15 shades of his Deep Breath Major Headlines Double Take Cream and Powder Blush Duo. They're all $38. He has 15 shades now because he just added 4 of them. As usual, these are a cream and a powder. I've got all 4 of the new ones. In fact, I have all 15 of all of them. So anything that you want compared, I do that over on Instagram. Just throw me an ask down there in the comments, or come over and ask me even better on Instagram, and I can do that there, okay? Now, Patrick Ta happens to be a sensational teacher, if you didn't know that. And if you're on Instagram and you see any of his instructional videos, take a moment. He does it quick, and he's really to the point. I find his instructional videos, much like Natasha Denona, I find them very, very enlightening and helpful. Patrick Ta generally applies powder with cream over the top rather than the other way around, but he admits you could do it vice versa if you want. You could just wear the powder, you could just wear the cream, and he's been on Instagram demonstrating a lot of these kind of looks. And today what we're going to do is we're going to do one cheek in each demo with the YSL also. One cheek like everyday use, and I'll overdo one because you guys have told me you like that. It looks silly. It's not an application technique, but it just lets you really see what the shade looks like. We have 4 from Patrick Ta. She's Seductive, a warm mauve rose. She goes to the gym, does she now? A cool mauve rose. Then we have She Left Me on Red, which I'm really excited about. Love that one. And the She Knows Who She Is terracotta shade. That's it, yeah, right there. I don't know if that looks like a terracotta. I say this in the demo too. Is that really terracotta? And I'm most excited about the red because I've been in my red lip era. So now I like the red cheek look too. All right. What I have done is I have swatched these. We're going to take a look at them outside in the warm California sunshine. And I have swatched them right next to one another. So what I've done on my arm, just so you know when we go outside, is I have the cream followed by the powder, okay? So that's what we're looking at right now in the warm California sunshine. There's She's Seductive, cream and then powder. She Goes to the Gym, cream and then powder. She Left Me on Red, cream and then powder. And She Knows Who She Is, cream and then terracotta. The names that he uses for his shades kind of lend themselves to a little bit of a tude when you say them, don't you think? All right, and now I want to talk to you because I really am anxious to get into the demos as I click these closed. I want to talk to you now about YSL Make Me Blush 24-Hour Buildable Powder Blush. Make Me Blush obviously sounds familiar because we did have those liquid blushes from YSL that came out, and I love them. I still use them all the time. This is another in the Make Me Blush series, but this is a 24-hour waterproof buildable color. And when I bought these, I was really hoping that they'd be the exact same formula as that powder bronzer. I don't really think they are, but I do like them. They pack a mean punch. Now, how many shades are there? Let's get into what makeup craze over on Instagram called Blushgate. The shades, some are released. We have a membership here on YouTube, and on our live, Lisa P, one of the members, she's a subscriber and a member on YouTube, she was saying that she saw a video that said that Korea got different shades than Japan. This is common with luxury products. Armani does this, Chanel does this, YSL obviously does this. Certain shades are released at different times in different countries. Sometimes they're the same shade and they're renamed, though I don't believe that happened here. Other times they are, people in the US are really upset because there's quite a few shades that we didn't get. I know Sephora here currently at time of filming has like 7 shades. The YSL website here in the US has maybe even less. Canada got different ones than we did here in the US. And a lot of people are very upset because there's like especially 4 lighter missing shades. And people were like, is it Blushgate? Is it because that kind of lilac liquid shade got a lot of flack here in the US? Were they being petty? Were they holding out? I don't think so. I really don't. I just think they do market research. I don't know. Correct me if you think I'm wrong. Correct me if you think I'm wrong. And come on over also and join our membership. All that information, of course, is down below, along with info on how to join our Facebook page and find me on Instagram and TikTok if it exists in a few days. Who knows? And I will also have purchasing or perusing information down below in the description bar and where available up here in YouTube shopping. Okay, so these formulas are cool too because they have a matte and a satin. It would be great if you could get colors the same color in matte or satin. What I really like about the satin shade, and I'll show you here in this Restless Rose, and we will see Outdoor Swatches, they have a reflective quality that almost makes them duochromatic. The satin shades, not the matte, obviously. And I picked up the shade, which apparently I'm very lucky. A lot of people are envious of the shade. I got the Spicy Berry shade. It was on Sephora, but I guess it was sold out really quickly on Sephora. This is that deep plum shade, which I think is made infinitely more interesting by the fact that it is a satin and not a matte. It really gives it a little bit more life. I've got blush all over my hand already. I'm covered in blush. If I stood up, I am covered in blush. YSL definitely made me blush. All right, let's take a look at the Saint Laurent shades Outside in the Warm. California Sunshine. This one's pretty straightforward. We have Restless Rose, which is kind of a satin shade, a peachy pink satin. Almost feels duochromatic. Peachy Nude, which is a matte shade, kind of a warm terracotta matte. Berry Bang, which is a pink raspberry matte shade. And Spicy Berry. Apparently, I'm quite the envy of others that I got this one, I guess. This is a deep plum satin shade. I got that one for Pink Sparkle. I figured she would love it. Pink Sparkle, where you at? I thought she would love it. She loves those kind of berry shades, and I'd love to hear what she thinks of that. We are going to start trying on all of these. Like I said, I do like 8 or 9 face washes here, so I might look a hot mess because I haven't put on any foundation because I kind of knew I'd be washing my face so many times, so I'm a little worse for wear, but we got important things to do here, guys, don't we? All right, let's go ahead and go right now to the demo. Make sure that you are subscribed, and let's take a look at all of these blushes. Okay, forgive me if my complexion looks a little off or blemishy. I don't have any foundation on because I'm going to be taking on and off. I'm going to be washing my face 8 times. So, yeah. You can imagine. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with the YSL. We are going to do one at a time, and we are going to start here with our Restless Rose, our satin peachy pink shade. And I've got 8 different brushes for 8 different blushes. This is a pretty satin shade. And we're going to make sure we cover the whole brush, because if you have it unevenly or just on one side of the brush, you're going to get an uneven application. So cover the whole brush equally. And then, leaning into my mirror here, we're going to put this on. This is just a kind of everyday application like I would do if I were just putting it on myself. And then let's overdo it over here on this cheek. And this time I purposefully just kind of loaded up one side of the brush with it. This is just to show you a little bit more of the shade and show you the kind of reflectiveness of the satin shade. This is not a wearing or usage suggestion, of course. It's overdone, and you can kind of see it a little bit better, but this side is the way I would wear it for everyday use. On camera, this is going to give you a better idea of the shade. Let's go ahead and do face wash number 1 and move on to our second shade. Stay right there. Okay, I'm fresh faced. Might end up looking red-faced like I have blush on, but it's just going to be from taking off the blush. Here we go with Peachy Nude. This is a matte shade, so we're not going to get that same kind of reflective quality, obviously, that we got in the satin. And I am covering the whole brush and then tapping a little bit off because this is for kind of an everyday application so that it's not over applied. There it is, just looking pretty the way I would wear it. These are very pigmented blushes. Okay, and then I'm going to just load up one side of the brush to do an over application. I have no bronzer and no highlight on. And like I said, not even any foundation. And there is an over application on this side of Peachy Nude, a matte shade. All right, and we are moving on. Number 3. Okay, on to these kind of berry shades. First with the Berry Bang, which is a matte shade, kind of a pink raspberry matte shade. This is a rougher number 4. I'm going to evenly cover and then knock a bit of it off because this is highly pigmented, especially for my skin tone. And then here we go with a normal application, the way I would wear it, around of a shade that is very bright. And now an intentional over application. A clownish look, I admit, but to let you know what it looks like and what it would look like for everyday use. And that is the Berry Bang. Up next is number 4, YSL Spicy Berry. Fourth and final YSL shade is Spicy Berry. This is going to be interesting also because it is a satin shade. So we're going to have a little bit of coolness and reflection. I am covering evenly the entire face of the brush, knocking it off a little bit because I know this is going to be deep. I don't look great in cool shades, so I'm not expecting miracles. I love cool shades, but I don't always look so good in them. I look a little bit dead. This appears to be no exception, but I love how reflective it is, and I don't know if you're seeing that on this kind of normal application. It's actually a little heavy for normal, isn't it? But let's really do it heavy over here, and then you should see, it's ridiculously heavy. You should, I'm gonna have to do a full face wash. You should see, either think I have a dermatological condition or really see what the shade looks like. That is ridiculously over applied, but I'm just hoping to give you an idea. And here is a much more modest everyday, albeit still kind of heavy application. This is a heavy shade. But again, if you cover your brush evenly and knock a little off, you can do just fine with it. I think the shininess of it, I've got to get this off, this is silly. I think the shininess of it actually redeems it. I think if this were a matte, it might not be as pretty. I really like that it has that kind of dimension to it. Okay, let me get this silliness off and let's get started with Tarte, which is going to take a little bit more time because we've got a cream and a powder, and they're also very deep shades. Okay, for these shades, I have cleaned my face, of course, and I also have sponges along with my brushes for the cream portion of it, which Tarte usually applies over the top of the powder, but it really doesn't matter. Honestly, do you. Even he says that. Okay, let's start with She's Seductive, our warm mauve rose. If you were to just do the powder, which you could do, again, gently covering the entire brush so you don't have any spots of the brush that are, packing more of a punch. And again, if you think it's too much, tap it. Okay, and then let's see. This is a pretty one. I like the fact that this release has a little bit more useful shades and dark shades. He had that one release 2 releases ago that were all such powerful shades, that you were wearing too much and you hadn't even put it on yet. There it is, just solely as a powder. You can also wear it solely as a cream. I think what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to do that kind of famous Tarte application on this side, which is a powder followed by the cream. And for that, and Tarte doesn't do this, he really kind of puts it on like that. And then we'll use the little tushy butt of this sponge, which is actually a rougher sponge, and I'm going into the cream on the She's Seductive and just this will be an over application. This is our kind of calm side. This is an over application on this side, but it just lets you see the way it builds when you put the cream over it. Same look with a much more subtle, and I can even do a subtle cream over the top, you know, because most of it is off of the sponge. So there is powder with cream, very subtle and very wearable, and this is very overdone. But we're going to be getting deeper here. That's our first She's Seductive from Tarte. Let's keep it going. Okay, here is She Goes to the Gym, a cool mauve rose, fresh brush. Can we call this to She Works Out at Home? I'm changing the name to She Works Out at Home. Come on, she's trying. Okay, She Goes to the Gym. Just the powder application, nice and gently. Again, a cool tone. Generally don't suit me. Oh, but I love them. So I hope that doesn't throw you off. There is a very gentle application of a not so gentle shade, to be honest. Okay, and then on this side, we're going to really do it up. Heaven help me. Really overdo it over here. Have a fresh Rephr sponge, yes indeed, to really put the cream product over it on this side. It's ridiculous looking. Where's the circus music? Okay, but of course this side is our normal application side, and I'll go ahead and even put a little bit of cream over that. So here we have a really kind of everyday application followed by a ridiculously overdone just for comparison and just so you can better see the shade. Woo, that's our second one. We have 2 more to look at. I solemnly swear I am not starting off this demo with blush already on. My cheeks are just getting red because I'm washing them so much. This is the shade, I've been in my red lip era, so this is the shade I've been looking forward to trying the most. She left me on red, this warm, vivid red. Ooh, I'm curious about this. And also a little bit fearful. So let's take a Rephr 18 and just get it evenly on the tip. Okay, so that we don't have any hot spots or so on the brush, and then knock it. That would have been my cheek. Okay, so going under like that. Oh, that's pretty. I like it kind of around the eyes. You don't have to apply it that way, but so that's just kind of, you know, if I had my makeup done and a lot of mascara and a red lip, I think that would look really cool, even as a just kind of everyday application, but it is still very, very bright. Now let's see how we do when we overdo it. I'm hesitating. Will I even be able to get this off when I over apply for the next swatch? My face is getting so dry. Woo! Do you remember those Raggedy Andy dolls? I much prefer this application, and even this one to me is a little heavy. Okay, but it's fun. Okay, let me take a beauty blender and get into, and I'm really getting in there, the cream. This is solely to show you shade. This is, please, this is not an application technique. I am not suggesting this. Okay, but on the side that's a little bit more of a rational application, let's just see what happens when we add a tad bit of the cream. And that could be, I think that could be smoothed out a bit, but you get the idea. Light application, even of a heavy shade, and a ridiculously heavy application for you to see. Whew, got one more face wash. Remember I was going to change the name of She Goes to the Gym to She Works Out at Home, Give Her a Break. I actually am going to change it to She Tries On 8 Blushes in One Video. For a content creator, this is quite the workout, in other words. All right, here's our last new, because for Tarte I have them all. This is a terracotta shade, and it's called She Knows Who She Is. It's so dark. Oh, it's almost like some sort of a joke. Okay. Thankfully, I have the floofy number 5 brush. Okay, the over application frightens me. Okay, let me just kind of evenly coat this side of the brush so that I don't get any little hot spots. And I'm going to take some of it off. They say a warm, oh no, just a terracotta. I was like, do they describe this as warm? Because this looks pretty cool to me. This doesn't look terracotta to me. She knows who she is. Does that look, I guess that is kind of terracotta. To me, terracotta is a little bit of a warmer shade. I guess that goes warm. And there's the over-applied side. I'm kidding. Okay. I don't think I have to do an over-applied side. I really don't. And here it is. It's almost like, this is how, to be honest with you, it's almost like this is the over-applied side on this one. Because this is actually how I would wear it. But I'll build it up. Heaven help me. Okay. Yeah. All right. Slightly over-applied, very over-applied. Getting my last clean Rephr sponge. And really doing it up. Oh, God. But I mean, it really gives you a good idea of the way the shade looks, okay? I know I'm clowning and being silly, but okay. And then on this side, we'll just put it over a little bit. So that is very heavy application, but there's nothing wrong with that. If you really applied it expertly and had all your other makeup done, it would be very pretty. And this side, of course, ridiculous, but just for shade comparisons, clean myself up, and we'll finish up the video. I can't take myself seriously like that. There, that's a little better, don't you think? What do you think? What did you purchase? What are you waiting for? These aren't the only blushes being released, but they are kind of the blushes that everyone's talking about right now. But we have more that are being released, you know, pretty much daily, right? A lot of blush. People love blush. So what do you think? What shades of the YSL did you get? And if you're talking about shades with the YSL, let me know what country you're in, because that kind of helps. People in the US seem very frustrated with it. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if I'm taking sides with that, but it'd be interesting. As usual, it's not about me up here just yapping away at you. It is about the community. So definitely give me some feedback and let me know what you purchased. Make sure to share and to like. The kindest thing you can do for me is to subscribe to this channel, because it helps me spread the word and get my videos out there. And I look forward to seeing all of you in the next video. Bye-bye.